The dog days of summer are upon us, and today I am going to be creating a brand new late summer container. Stay tuned. Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny, and today I am going to be putting together a late summer container. It is August, it is hot, it is humid, it is sticky, and some of your containers, maybe they're just looking sad, maybe you went on vacation and somebody forgot to water them and you just need a brand new pot that will go through the end of the summer. So that's kind of what the situation we have here. I have this container, I've had it forever. It is just a resin container. And so I thought it would be really fun to put together this late summer container that will go all the way through a hard frost or even a freeze. We have some very mature plants here. This gorgeous mandevilla vine, we brought it in the spring. We have a couple of them left and they were just hanging out and they were gorgeous. And I was like, let's put a container using the mandevilla vine to be my thriller. And then we have a blue suede shoes salvia, a penta, and a lime thyme coleus that were originally in the little 4.25 containers from Proven Winners, and then again they didn't sell, so we moved them up to gallons, and they are growing and blooming and thriving, and they're massive. So this container is going to be a little bit different in the fact, for me, by the time I get done putting it together, it's going to look like a full-size container that has been growing all season long, but it's going to be nice and fresh. So I got this inspiration from when Jerry and I were in Blowing Rock, North Carolina, a couple of weeks ago. We went up for a Sunday afternoon. The mountains are only an hour and a half away from us, and any parent knows sometimes you just need a little break from your beloved offspring, and we were in that situation. So we decided to take off and head to Blowing Rock, and Blowing Rock, if you don't know, has absolutely beautiful flowers. The town has gorgeous flowers everywhere, and then so do the residents and the local businesses. So I was inspired by somebody that had a container kind of doing this same thing with the mandevilla. All I'm doing right now is just loading up my container with the Proven Winners potting soil. And so I'm not going to put it all the way full because all of these plants are in 1 gallon containers, and I don't want to have to take soil out. I'd rather add some soil to it. Remember, when you're doing a container and you want it to last, especially like this, you're putting in nice big plants, you're wanting the container to last through the heat of the summer. Fill the whole container up with potting soil. Do not fill in the bottom with like fillers, plastic bottles, pine cones, packing peanuts. You want this whole thing to be soil because we need our plants to have all their roots to be able to go down. Now this is going to be interesting because this mandevilla, when we got it, it came to us on a trellis, and I'm going to keep that trellis intact. I'm not going to take the mandevilla off. It's got some roots in here, folks. There we go. All right. So you can see that this plant has a lot of roots in it. So I'm not going to go in here and massively break up my roots. I'm simply taking my thumb and poking holes in it to break up the roots just a little bit. Not massive. I don't want to shred it. Stand it up here. And these sweet things are ready to get out of that nursery pot and into a nice container. So here we go. Let's see. Get her down in there. Now, I know that we are sitting in the shade right now. Again, it's August. It's hot. So, we're planting this in the shade, and that's why it's on a wagon. So once we get done, we're gonna move it, just take the wagon with us, and we're gonna move it over to the sun location. All right, so let's see here. Get everybody tucked in. It's gonna be a little interesting here. We're just gonna have to go with it. All right, here we go. I think I'm gonna put, this is the Rockin' Blue Suede Shoes Salvia. Actually, this was one of Jackson's. So in the winter, when we're potting up plants, he likes to take the plants, the little plugs, the liners that look like they're not gonna make it, and he rescues them. And so this is one of his rescue plants. And he likes to say that he grew it, but really it's his daddy that's taking care of it. So we're gonna stick this in over here. If you're not familiar, all right, trellis, stay still. If you're not familiar with the Rockin' series of salvias, they're amazing. They're massive hummingbird attractors, just great plants. Continuous bloomers, not only for hummingbirds, pollinators, honeybees, bumblebees, you name it, they love it. All right, we're gonna make this work, people. All right, so we got that. I think I want to do the lime thyme on the side. I mean, look at this coleus. Look how massive it is. This is that Color Blaze series, can do sun or shade. Our folks moved it up just a couple of weeks ago, and it's already filled in this much. So that's why we love coleus. They are so vigorous, fantastic growers. And I know that this mandevilla, like any other kind of vine, is going to intermingle with the other plants, and that's perfectly fine. That is not a problem. It'll go up, but it'll also come through. Sounds good. Now, in the front, another major pollinator attractor, we're gonna use the Sunstar Rose Penta. Again, if you don't have pentas in your yard, you need to. They are amazing. Again, massive pollinator attractor. And we're gonna stick that in the front. My trellis is not cooperating with me very much here. It keeps wanting to go crooked. Let's see. Get that tucked down in there. And my pot's not staying flat on this wagon. Let's see if I can move it. Oh, good. Now we stop the wiggle. Okay, so all the plants are planted now. So what I'm gonna do is go back through. Remember, I told you I didn't fill it all the way up, and I'm gonna fill in any little holes, pockets, with potting soil. The key, one of the keys to having a successful container is making sure that you've got a lot of fresh, available potting soil for those roots to grow and be happy in. The more soil, more roots, more water retention, more fertilizer it'll hold, whole 9 yards. When you're choosing your container, always choose a container, the biggest one that your space will allow. And if, branches snap off right now, it's okay. Pinching and pruning, whether it's intentional or accidental, is always a very good thing for your plants, especially these guys. It just creates more branching. And see, look, we already have a bumblebee. Told you it's going to be a major pollinator attractor. Now, all these plants, minus the lime thyme. Lime thyme can do, remember, sun or shade. But these are full sun plants. So we're going to put this in a very sunny, warm spot. We're actually going to put it on the side of the outhouse, which is not really the outhouse. It's the electrical cover. Just looks like an outhouse. Here at the nursery. So that spot gets lots of sun, hot, intense afternoon sun. and it's close to a hose so I can water it when I need to. So we're getting it in there. I know this might seem a little tedious, but it's very important that we do this. Now, right now, the salvia is not really as prime as these other guys are because it went a couple of days without some water and got a little neglected. But it will bounce back immediately. In fact, what I might do is go ahead and just cut back a little bit some of the stalks gently. I'm not going to do a heavy prune on this, but that encourages new growth, more branching. I'm just making sure I don't have any, oops, see there's a big hole back there. So I'm going to put it here, slide it back. Now, within, I would say like a week, this container is going to be so filled in. Everybody's going to be very happy. It's going to be nice. This is definitely a big presence container. This is not going to be for a little small petite area. It's definitely going to be somewhere where it's going to make a big impact because all of these plants are nice and large, and when they grow up in the next couple of weeks and months, they're really going to fill in. So what I'm going to do on this salvia is just kind of come in where there's just a couple of little petite little blooms on it, and I'm just going to come down and just snip it. Now there's some good blooms on that, so I'm going to leave it alone. But when I do this, I am encouraging the plant to branch out, send out some more branching, more blooms, and again, this is an area where I'm going to do some really precise pruning and not, I'm not going to trim it like Jenny sometimes does, where I'm just absolutely ruthless and I just come in here and just cut it all the way back. So if you didn't know that I was pruning it or had pruned it, you wouldn't be able to tell because I'm being very precise. Wherever you have two little leaves coming up, that's where you want to cut right above that. Then those two little leaves will turn into branches, which will be full of blooms. Now, normally I don't ever have to do this. The only reason I'm doing this on this salvia right now is, like I said, because it was neglected and it got dry a couple of times and it just needs a little bit of help. The beautiful thing about all of these plants is nothing has to be deadheaded. Nothing has to be deadheaded. They were branching on their own. They will produce continuous flowers and color from spring to frost or hard freeze. So really, that's it for right now as far as the planting and the pruning. I am going to go ahead and put in some of the time release fertilizer in here. There is some in that Proven Winter soil. I like just to bump it up just a little bit because the time release is released based on temperature. It's really warm now. Give them a little bit of extra shot of food because this is going to be neglected kind of during the week. It's going to be kind of on its own, and every time it gets watered or it's sitting out there in the hot sun, that fertilizer is being released and they're being fed. So we're just going to take and just do a couple of shakes in here. All of these are heavy feeders, so we're just going to come in here, add the slow release in there. I'm probably going to do about 3 scoops total in here. Again, heavy feeders. I'm not going to burn the plants. I'm just simply feeding them right now. Food equals flowers, people. So you definitely got to feed them. And then what I am going to do too, I know some of you are going to think I'm crazy, but it works, is I'm going to go ahead and give them, because I obviously have to water this in, I'm going to give them a shot of the water-soluble fertilizer as well. With your water-soluble fertilizer, it is 1 scoop per gallon, and this is a 2-gallon container. So we're going to put 2 scoops. Give it a little zhuzh. All right. if you will notice where I'm putting the water down in the pot. When you water your plants, you don't care about getting your foliage wet. You want the roots. So if you're dealing with some slimy flowers or powdery mildew or black spot funguses, if you're watering overhead, then that could be part of your problem. So make sure that the water is going to the roots, not necessarily the foliage. Because obviously the roots are the main source of soaking up that water. All right, there we go. All right, so we've got the beautiful pink mandevilla that is just going to continue now that she's in a nice big pot to really grow and just go wild. Again, she's going to end up intermingling all through here, probably trailing some down. That'll be beautiful. The Lime-Time Coleus, again, this will fill in really nicely, gives me that great pop of bright color. My Sunstar Rose Pentas, major pollinator attractor, hummingbirds, butterflies, bumblebees, honeybees, everything you can think of, along with the Rockin' Playin' the Blues, Rockin' Blue Suede Shoes, Salvia. All of this is just really going to fill in, and in just a couple of weeks, this is just going to be this massive, gorgeous container full of all sorts of blooms and colors and textures. I hope you have found this helpful. Hope you found it a little inspirational, informative. Remember, it's okay to go ahead and refresh some pots. Maybe you just have to replace one plant. Maybe you need to start all over. Who knows? Sometimes, life just happens and we just go with the flow. But as always, thank you so much for gardening with Creekside. We're going to move this into place. Y'all have a fantastic day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends. 1, 2, 3. Just in the center.